All right, guys, welcome to this episode of the podcast. I haven't actually decided what podcast I'm going to put this on right now. So whatever episode or whatever show that I have that you're listening to this on, welcome. I decided to do a freeway podcast today with Presence and I'm going to mess up his name, but Wouter. I think that's how I pronounce your name.
Wouter.
Wouter. I remember now. I remember on the call. Yeah, I remember now. So really looking forward to today's conversation, guys, and we're just going to see where it goes. Probably around personal growth, probably around personal development, discussion there. Maybe also how we all met each other as well, which was really cool, and just kind of go from there. So if I hand over to Presence, and then if we do an intro. And just know who we all are, and then we'll just dive into a conversation.
Okay, I'll be really quick. My name's Presence. I'm 19, and my exam got cancelled, so I should be going to uni this year. But based on my story background was I went through a decade of depression because of anorexia, and then I developed alopecia. So I got really depressed, and then decided that I had enough and started my personal growth journey, and it's been a roller coaster but magical at the same time, and I'm at the best place I could ever be at the moment. So is that good?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Now it's my turn. Wouter, it's a difficult name, especially for the whole world except for everyone in the Netherlands. I'm 22 years old, and I started my personal development journey back in 7 years ago, so 2013 already. Wow. I was very young.
That's so young.
I suffered from a severe depression for, not all my life, but many years. And like you said, Presence, it was enough. And I decided to take back control and to start my own personal development journey. Now I help people all over the world from every country because it's on YouTube. I make videos and I help people with overcoming their depression and show the world their greatness.
Amazing. And so, guys, maybe if we start there in terms of, so we've all faced that depression ultimately. So if we can all relate to that, maybe that's through that, then all got into personal growth, personal development. And so maybe that's where, somewhere where we can kind of start this conversation if you guys are happy with that.
Yep.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Cool. So if we should kind of share our experiences and then go from there. So I don't mind going first.
Okay, Luke, you can start. I'll be the last one.
I'll start.
I'll keep it short and sweet. But so for those who don't know who I am, actually, even though we're kind of going live mostly on my network. So my name is Luke, 24 years old, founder of Grow Together. That's kind of why we're all here. And personal growth community. So my journey started when I wanted to run my own business, super young, knew nothing about business, got a business apprenticeship. And then from that, quickly fell into the 9-to-5 grind ultimately. That was quite difficult because I always believed I had a bigger purpose in that ultimately. And so I worked that job for a little while. And that contributed to me falling then into that depression alongside not necessarily being your traditional young person, so drinking, kind of all the usual things linked to being at that time 18 to 20 something year old. And so that was also quite difficult. So that with also wanting to find what my purpose was and everything, and kind of that challenge put me into that kind of space. For me, I faced more kind of anxiety than I did the depression, but even with the depression, I still faced that. So for me, anxiety was really bad. Couldn't even go into a supermarket, panic attacks and everything. And so, it took a long time to kind of overcome that, a few years. But when I came into this more personal growth, personal development world, I was learning a load of stuff, as you guys are as well, around how the brain works, around all these different things. And so then things just started to make a lot more sense. I discovered belief systems, value systems, etc. And yeah, over time, again, like a lot of things made sense, and then started to like go outside that comfort zone. And I also talk a lot about going back to doing the basics. So I don't know, obviously, when I pass it over to you guys, if you guys would agree with this, but when you're kind of in that mindset space, you kind of forget to do the exercise, right? You kind of forget to eat, kind of like healthily and kind of all these different things. You forget to sleep like, a good sleep pattern as well. And so I think for me, then going back to the basics, that was one of the things that, that really helped me to then overcome that, because it gave me a good kind of like springboard then to do a lot more of the personal growth stuff, right? To do a lot more of the inner work that is needed on this personal growth journey that a lot of people don't want to do because it's hard and because it's tough. And so I think if people can go back to the basics, I think that's a good kind of springboard for them to then start their journey. So I done that ultimately, and then started reading loads of books. I always share the book by Tony Robbins. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. Awaken the Giant Within, I think it's called.
Yeah.
It's an awesome book, and in there, like I say, value systems, etc. And so that really helped me. That really helped me because I was then just starting to like, just things made sense. Then, because I always felt like I'm like feeling these things and going through this, like, am I normal type of thing, or am I kind of like an alien from whatever? Am I like weird type of thing? And so, that book and then others like diving more into it really helped. Before then I was reading more like business books and that. So then diving more into like the personal growth stuff really did help. And so that's kind of my experience with it. I'm sure like through the conversation we can go deeper, but that's pretty much me.
Yeah. So my story first, or would you?
You first.
Yeah, my story. That's a long time ago. Back in, I think 2010 was the peak where I felt so depressed that I, almost didn't want to move on. It was so bad, and that I almost decided to take my own life very quick. I always had some negative thoughts in my head, and my health was very weak. I consumed a lot of dairy products, gluten, and if you look to some pictures from 2010, my skin is very white, extremely white. I had no energy. My thoughts were very bad, and everything was so negative until I started to fall in that downward spiral. Presence, you know my story because you've translated my book to English, so you know what I tell about the J curve. It's everyone who suffers from depression is in a J curve. It starts right here, and then you have to decline. Things seem to get worse in life. You don't know how it happens, why it happens, and then you get even lower until you got rock bottom, and that's your phase of awakening for most. I hope for most people. And when you know how to transcend that, the bottom part, it's the bloodiest part in brutal ways. You go in a phase of slow growth and exponential growth, and all that happened in 2013. Because what I learned was mindset with depression is everything. You have to change. Your mind only responds to two things, and that's the pictures you make in your head and the words you tell yourself. So every time you look in a mirror, when you say things like, "Oh, you're ugly, you're not worthy, you are unlovable, you're not good enough," your mind says, "Oh, yes." But when you say other things like, "You're beautiful the way you are, you deserve to be alive, you deserve to be happy," your mind also says things like, yes, it agrees to what you say. It only works in present tense and to those two things. And when I took control about my self-talk, so much changed. And first, it feels so strange to say things like, "Oh, you're lovable," "Oh, you're worthy." But then over time, over 21 days, it becomes normal, and you say things like that. What I also did was changing my health. I banned dairy products, so I became energetic, more alive. As I appear on my videos. And the third thing was educating myself. That is so crucial. Every day, just for 15 minutes, read something that is on your path, on your area of interest. So those three things are very, very useful. And the last thing I want to share is following your heart always.
Amazing, man. Yeah, I completely agree. Presence, over to you.
Okay, I might, because I didn't plan anything, I might say a bit messy. But so my story started when in 2009. So when it was at your peak, I just started mine. But I think my peak was when I was 14. So 2014, when I had anorexia to the point I was sent to hospital. I think that was even after hospital, I was still very depressed, because I think it's I agree. Like from the age of 9, I've been called names from just stupid because I was really dumb at the time, to like alien because I looked different at the time. So I was called all these different names every single day from 9 to like 14, and I just became numb. Like I don't remember saying anything bad to myself, but I remember everyone else saying stuff bad to me. And so I think it just like conditioned, just goes into your mind. And then when I kind of got myself away from everyone else, I realized that it was my turn, and I was saying all the bad stuff to myself. And so that was like during hospital, and then like after hospital, I continued to, I think because like recovery is so hard, like I don't know how to explain it, but like you recover a bit and then you go back down, and I didn't believe I could recover. And because I didn't believe I could recover, I allowed myself to continue those negative thoughts, and continue to be depressed. So I think kind of to get away from depression starts from believing in yourself that you can get away from depression. And then what I just did was, like, kind of my story was I continued to hate myself, but I still forced myself to recover, because it was mainly because of like my mum, because I just hated myself so much, but I knew that if I died, then she would be crushed. So I had no, like, I just kind of, in my mind, I have no choice. I have to do this for her. And then I got to a point where I was healthy, but that was because when you're anorexic, your brain just changes naturally. And then as you gain weight, your brain kind of has more nutrition, and it just like, you kind of see a bit more rationally, I guess. And that's when I started to be a bit more, maybe I should, do something about being depressed. Like, I can't get healthy and just still hate my life. And then I started just brainwashing myself with lots of quotes. I had like, my room was full of quote posters everywhere. That's why I'm still obsessed with quotes. And that's how I started to kind of like just fake it, like fake loving myself, until it kind of started to become quite fun. And then just started just telling myself good things about myself until I actually believed it, I guess. But it's really hard at the beginning. So,
I mean, I've just wrote down like so many different things, so we just kind of see where this goes. I think the first point, just on the final thing you mentioned there, Presence, was about the quotes. I think a lot of people might do that, which is good, but then you've moved into action, and obviously you've got that obviously you've got the podcast. It starts with action, and action is the most important thing. So how did you then, and maybe like we can all kind of share our thoughts on this, how did you then move from that like reading the quote stage to action stage? Because just reading the quotes, isn't gonna necessarily get you out of that place. And so I'm interested in ultimately that,
I still hated myself a lot, but I thought, I just decided there's no other option. Like, there is just no option other than to take action towards, getting my life back. Because if I, like, even though I hate myself, at least I'm alive. If I don't do anything, then I'm going to die. So there was like no option for me. And I was really scared. Like, every day was like this, like, it was, I thinking about it, I really don't know how I did it, to be honest. But it was, I think it's just really facing the fear and doing it anyway, and like realizing that I don't have another option, like just like, you know, just tunnel vision, that this is the only direction I'm going to go. I don't care how scary it is, I'm just going to go, kind of like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. But just kind of, and then I'll bring Wouter into this. But just kind of like on that, I think it's a little bit different in terms of what we're talking about. But I kind of see that the same with like the path of entrepreneurship as well. You know, in terms of me, like this is like the only path. Like once you make that decision, like I'm going to start my own business. Of course, like for other people, you know, there might be the way back like 9 to 5, but for me, like there isn't, because I've worked the 9 to 5. I hated it. Like there's no way in a million years I'm going back there. You know, like I've shared that multiple times. I'm sharing it again here on live. Like if I ever think about that, like guys, like keep me accountable. Like I am not going back there. You know, like so this is like the only path now. And I think once you kind of make that decision, then you're going to do whatever it takes on that path. So I'll bring yourself into it, man. But your thoughts.
Why I decided to start my own YouTube channel, because it is so selfish. If you know the answers to so many problems, like overcoming depression or anxiety or sadness, that you just be silent. There are so many people who are suffering from depression and anxiety, and they need your help. They need your voice, and it is so important to help them with overcoming their problems. And you know the answers, a lot of them. And that is when I decided to go to London, and there I met Presence. It was at an event. What was his name? Free Akarshana.
Superpower Live.
Superpower Live. Yeah. And then we met each other, and then we noticed each other, and then we said, yeah, we're gonna take action. And let's see how everything goes. And I decided to start my own YouTube channel, and it was so scary. But what I remembered, and Presence, I heard you saying the quote, "Feel the fear and do it anyways." Always feel the fear and do it anyways. And that is what I decided to do. I was a little bit shy. I first did whiteboard videos, and then I showed my face and my voice, and I was freaking out. I was freaking out because my voice was on the internet, my face, and I always believed that nobody wanted to see my face, and especially not in the palm of your hand. So that is when I decided to take on that journey. But the most important thing is that you first develop yourself, and when you really overcame the problems, you can share your knowledge. But never postpone serving others, because you are on your own journey as well. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start.
Yeah, 100%. And so how did you also get to that place of from that depression to then starting to take action? If you were also somebody who like really liked the quotes and everything, like how do like talk us through what you kind of then did? Was it just literally like just start with one thing?
No.
And then the momentum kind of like built up? How did you then go from that from this stage to that action stage?
Okay. I remember the moment. My life was always linear, stagnant, and until my 18th birthday, everything was okay. I transcended depression. Like I said, I changed my self-talk every time I looked in the mirror, so it was stable, it was stagnant. But there was a moment where a friend of mine gave me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Do you know that?
Yep, great book.
And I refused, because I said, no, I only want to learn from university, because university, that's true. That's where you get the knowledge. He gave it to me a second time. I said no. But then the third time he said, Wouter, please read it. It will change your life. So I said, okay, I will read. I will read it. So I read the book, and I had a mental breakdown of a few weeks. There was so many belief systems were shaking up. Oh my God, I feel it. I feel it again. It was so strange to see everything collapse. My dad always says, you will never be rich. You will never be this. You need to work very hard. Like you said, Luke, you have to work 9 to 5, but that's not true. So if that is not true, maybe it is also not true that I'm not lovable. So maybe I am lovable. Maybe I don't have to be depressed. Maybe I can be happy or abundant. Then I discovered another video. It was from Marissa Peer, one of the world's leading hypnotherapists, and she said babies will are only born with two fears. The first is the fear of being dropped, and the second one is the fear of loud noises. And then I thought, I have maybe 1,000 fears, and they are real, but I can maybe transcend them. So that was how I started. You have to be curious, and you have to accept new knowledge.
100%. And I'm happy you mentioned like being curious. I think that is, if I'm honest, I hate to blow my own trumpet, but I think that's one of my strengths. You know, it's just like I'm quite of a curious guy. Like I'm curious about a lot of different things. Even mostly within like this personal growth space, like this personal growth road entrepreneurship. And that's, like you say, that's really served and helped me. Do you guys think that that can be developed?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because when you are young, you have a teacher in front of you who says, he explains complicated algebra, and you need all those difficult things, and you get conditioned by learning is not fun. But when you open yourself up and you see that there is so much that you can learn that evolves you, that brings you to a new level, a new place, I think it's you can learn it. Yeah, just visualize the outcome.
Yeah. I think just like forcing yourself to do something new and then realizing that it's kind of interesting kind of helped me become more curious about just everything, like new things. Just I used to be someone who would only stick to the stuff that I know, especially like food. I would only stick to like oats, vegetables and stuff. But I guess that actually kind of helped. But like during my recovery, I forced myself to try everything, and that kind of helped me be a bit more open to new things in general. And I guess that's kind of helped me develop curiosity, like starting a podcast, starting YouTube. Like both of you guys have inspired me so much, and it's so cool to like see Wouter from meeting him, just like talking to him, what he wanted to do, and then seeing him start YouTube from like 0 subscribers and his first video where there was no humor in it to now there's like literally always humor in his videos, and his thumbnails from like not using his photos to like really boldly making expressions on his thumbnails. And so that inspired me to, you know, also kind of get out of my comfort zone and maybe start YouTube, because I was so scared to talk to anyone, and I thought YouTube was a good way to talk to the camera, at least practice that. So that's how I started, and I knew that Wouter was starting it, so like at least I know someone who's doing it with me. I feel like having some support system is really good for me personally. And then from that I found Luke, and then, you know, started a podcast and realized, you know, it's really fun to do it with other people and talk to other people and not just talk to the camera sometimes. So I really enjoy the podcast, and just knowing you have people who are doing the same as you and who are in the same boat, it really helps me, I think.
Presence, do you think that coronavirus helped you with developing yourself? Because for me personally, I don't have to explain everything I do to all the people I know at school, because at school they think, oh, you're starting YouTube, and especially in the Netherlands, you should. You're all like, ooh. So I was alone for a few months, and I only had my online friends. So they were all like Luke, for example, like you, all starting their own YouTube. I had my own mentor from Mind Valley, and it was so contagious that I almost felt like I had to do the same. And when I was at school 5 days a week, I had to explain myself to others, and I was afraid of their opinions. So I think it served me, and I wish to hear your.
I think COVID for me has been, I don't know, I know it's not good, but it really has been a blessing for me, because I was so stressed about school, because I was like my A levels were this year, and it like determines if I go to uni or not. And so just before lockdown, I was so stressed, and then suddenly exams got cancelled, and I was like, the stress is over. Okay, what next? What am I going to do? This is like my summer holiday has started. So that's when I started YouTube. And since meeting like Luke, I met some other friends, Andrew, Emmanuel, and they all like I realized that there are actually people out there who are similar age, who are also interested in personal development, entrepreneurship, and investing in themselves, and like taking risks, and also not really liking school. And so started to surround myself with these kind of people, and I feel like I fit in. Surprisingly, like I never felt like I fit in anywhere, but like now I really do, and I feel like it's really cool to support each other, and it's just been really fun and enjoyable. And so definitely it has helped me a lot with confidence as well. And like you know how I was when I met you. Like I was really I was
so much. Oh my god, I'm so shy to expressing yourself, and I'm so proud because your change. Oh, I've never seen that before in anyone else. So you have to really be proud of that.
So but you too. So like when I first met Wouter, I remember I saw him and I was like, because everyone was kind of like 30s, 40s, and then I saw him across the room. I was like, he looks kind of similar age. It would be nice to at least like have someone there, because I was really nervous going there alone. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect anyone like similar age to come anyway. But I saw him and I was like, oh, maybe I should like kind of try to talk to him. And that was actually really scary talking to you. But then I did it, and then that's the biggest like kind of scary thing that I did then. But like now, talking has become so much easier. It's like I didn't think it was possible, but now I do. And because of this, I feel like I can do other things that I don't think are possible. Sorry, I spoke too much.
No, it's fine.
So to all the listeners, if I can say one thing, maybe your view on reality is not true. Maybe it's not. Your potential is so much bigger than you think. Because presence, if you always believed that you couldn't talk to people, you would always be silent and alone. But you stepped out of your comfort zone, and that's the most important thing. And now you've increased your awareness. That's key.
Yeah, I don't think I can go back to being shy again, like too shy at least. So it's kind of good.
And so what I wanted to mention was like that supportive network that kind of got brought up, during that bit. And so obviously supportive networks are really important. But like we've all connected. Well, so apart from, so obviously you two connected at an event, but I've connected with both of you two through social media, right? And I think I share this quite often, that you find what you look for, right? So you have the positive and obviously the not so positive. And so I think if people use it as a tool to connect with like more like-minded people, then kind of crazy shit can happen ultimately. And so that's like how we've all connected and that. So I just wanted you guys to share more of your experiences with that, if you're kind of happy doing so, because for me it's been amazing ultimately, like connecting with all these amazing people all around the world, from the States to Australia to like Asia away, and maybe even like Brazil. I think I've got some connections there. It's like crazy as hell, obviously here in Europe and here in the UK, and so again, like I just wanted us to maybe if we talk about that as well.
Yeah, sure. I think the most valuable thing you can do as a millennial is building a big network of people all over the world, because it's traveling becomes so much cheaper in the coming years, and not only traveling but also going to other places in the world just to meet people becomes so much more fun and more easy. And I think having a big network of people all over the world you connect with is very, very, very important. I've someone in Peru, someone in Asia, someone in Europe, and I think also for your own videos, it's very good to hear the opinions of everyone around the world, not only from your own country or city. So it's important to build your network of people. They can help you with your mission. You can rally them around your vision, your mission, and they are your supporters, your team, your warriors. Eventually.
Yeah. Well, so just quickly, I just wanted to kind of see on that. For me, then it also comes back to what we were talking about before in terms of being curious. Like that's why I'm like building this network and learning from all these different people all over the world, like hearing their perspectives, and then also bringing them on as guests as the podcast. Obviously, Presence, you've done this with your new show as well. And then I think having that curiosity to then connect with more like-minded people, it's just kind of like brought me back to that point, because then you're learning from everyone. Like, even during this, guys, like I'm taking a ton of notes. So if people like always wonder why I'm like looking over this side when I do shows or podcasts or anything, it's because I'm like scribbling down, And so it's just like always being curious and connecting with more like-minded people is a part of that. But yeah, Presence, I'll hand over to you.
For me, I've connected with everyone except for Wouter on LinkedIn, which is so weird. But it started off with Andrew, because basically I think I made a comment on a guy called Mark. I don't know, maybe he did like a personal development post, and I don't know what I said. And then he saw that comment, and then he reached out to me, and he said that like he sees that I'm into personal development and growth mindset, and like same, maybe we should connect. So we connected and we started talking, and then I realized, wow, this is cool. Like, there's a 19-year-old, same age, in the US, also interested in personal development. Like in real life, I find it really hard to talk to people about this topic because most are interested in like makeup, going out, and then when I talk about mindset stuff, they're like, "What? I don't understand." So I found it so rare, I guess. But yeah, then I started talking to him, and then I don't know, like how. I think, yeah, just someone else. Then I talked to you, and then someone like a year A-level. Oh, no, sorry. Okay, so I organized a webinar about personal statements, completely unrelated, about school, to help the younger years. And then through that I connected with a few year 12s who saw my other posts about personal development stuff, and they became really interested, and then connected like that. And then it's like connecting to one person interested in personal development, you connect to another person interested in the same thing, and then that like network effect, maybe you like naturally just expand, like you just create that network, and it's so cool that Wouter's from the Netherlands, and then everyone else is from the UK except for Andrew from the US. So I do wish I could meet more international people, but it's just crazy that I never thought I would meet so many really cool friends, like actual true friends, I would say, on social media, because like, I had the belief that social media is full of people that are, I don't know, like probably not worth really, my parents always like, do not talk to people on social media, like never do that. And now I'm literally doing it every day and loving it. So yeah.
I mean, so go on.
Light on my screen.
Yes.
Well, kind of.
Okay, it's pretty hot here, so I opened the window.
Okay, that's fine, man. So just on like the friends point, I also think it's crazy because like we've obviously you two have met, but as of right now, I haven't met you guys in person, and there's so many other people as well. Like before, kind of the world went crazy. I was just starting to to do that because that was originally one of my goals for this year, is to then take those online connections more offline. So I'm kind of still in the process of doing that. But I think, with you guys and so many others who I've connected with online, and when I think about it, it's crazy like that we haven't met, because I feel like we know each other still so well, even though it's only been like, like beginning of the year or end of 2019, or some people I've connected with like not even a year yet. And so I think that, that's ultimately what happens when you connect with like-minded people. You just feel like you've known them for ages. You have those conversations with them, and you're just completely on the same kind of energy level ultimately. And I think for me, like, I just want to get that message out there, like, to use social as that tool to connect with like-minded people. Sometimes I find it hard to kind of like describe kind of kind of what happens when you do so, and when you connect with those like-minded people. Ultimately, like, all I can share with people is highly recommend that they do so, because again, amazing things happen when you do. So that's just something else I wanted to just kind of like add on to that.
And I feel like don't be afraid to share what you're interested in. Like I share a lot, like I'm interested in personal development and mindset. And because I share that out, people who are also interested will naturally come to me and like message me. Whereas before, maybe I was more shy to talk about it to like on social media. That's why I never got to meet these amazing people. And it's because I started the podcast about, overcoming your fears, not letting perfectionism stop you, like not caring about what other people think. That's how I attracted my friends, I guess. So yeah.
And one very, very, very important thing, and that is if you know so many people online, everyone can help you. For example, Luke, we help you with your podcast. I help Presence with the website. Presence helps me with translating and reviewing my book. So everything's connected, and that's really awesome. So you can rally people around your mission and your vision, and everyone helps each other, and that's amazing.
Grow together.
So guys, Presence is on my there we go. Like that's ultimately like why I created Grow Together when I was like 3 years ago, right? Because at that time I realized like I kind of sat down and was like, surely I'm not the only 22-year-old at that time. Surely I'm not the only 22-year-old who's kind of experienced the things that I've experienced, right? Doesn't want necessarily to work the 9 to 5, wants to dive more into personal growth. It's like, hey, I'll just create a community, bring them all together and kind of grow together, And so that is definitely like completely my ethos and everything. But just quickly going back to Presence point around then sharing what you're interested in, 100%, it works both ways. Like it's about you reaching out to people who you kind of see are like-minded, but then you also posting content and documenting and sharing the things that you're interested in. Like that's how it works. Like I don't think people come across like-minded people, especially in my case, if those people then don't share content. Like that's how I come across like-minded people. Like I go onto Instagram, I type in a hashtag I'm interested in, mindset, personal growth, personal development. Guess what happens? Content comes up. Those people are way more likely to be like-minded people than if I type in golf or something, because golf fans, like I have no interest in golf.
Same.
Right? And so if I type in personal development, mindset, I'm much more likely to connect with like-minded people. And so it's for them people to get out of their own way, overcome those fears, and then post the content as well, sharing like who they are, because then that's also how you attract like-minded people to you. So I think it works hand in hand, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you guys have any more thoughts on that?
I still haven't started with Instagram really, so I cannot give advice on that. Only YouTube.
Yeah, I had something, but I forgot.
but I think it's the same on kind of any platform, So like it could be YouTube, right? So it could be type in personal growth, videos come up, you connect with the creators of those videos, you connect with like-minded people. It's the same with LinkedIn. You type in a keyword on LinkedIn, content comes up. You go onto Twitter, it's exactly the same. You go onto Facebook, it's the same. And Facebook, also you have Facebook groups, right? So you go into the group search, you type in mindset, guess what comes up? Like mindset-based groups. You request to join. And so it like whatever the platform is, obviously it's then tailored to the platform. So obviously Twitter and Instagram are more hashtag-based, but it's the same process. Like you then type in the keywords and the phrases and just the things that you're interested in to then connect with like-minded people.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it'd be really cool to like meet in person. I think, 100%. Yeah, it's like to the point, like so many Zoom calls and stuff. But I just really want to meet you guys in person. It's like it would be super cool to have like a massive meetup or something. So, yeah.
Yeah, in the future.
Corona, get away.
Yeah, get away.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to touch upon?
I don't know. Wouter, do you have anything?
No.
There was one thing you said before, Wouter, around, I forgot what it was. Let me have a quick look at my notes.
Jacob?
Around, I think it's when you said, when you said around like the pictures in your mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I wrote that down because that was one of the things that came up in like the personal development book that I read, or a different one actually, but still by Tony Robbins, diving into like the whole kind of like NLP side of personal growth and personal development. And so is that like an area that you really focus on, or have you just like me kind of like, I'm not, a huge expert on that. I've just read some books and kind of understand the basic principles kind of it and use it for myself. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch upon that because I think that'd be really helpful for people, our watchers and listeners, and that to realize that actually just kind of like how that works,
Sorry, 1 second.
No worries, man.
Okay.
But Presence, are you familiar with that? Like the whole NLP stuff?
I had this course on it, but I actually haven't looked at it yet.
Okay.
So, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. NLP is a very important aspect of mindset, and in the coming months, I'm going to do a course, a study on NLP for a few months, because it's so crucial if you want to help people with overcoming their depression, their sadness, and their anxiety. But what I got from Marissa Peer, the NLP hypnotherapist, was that your mind only responds in the present tense, doesn't respond in the past, on the pictures you make in your head, so what you visualize, and the words you say to yourself. So I was a little bit afraid of public speaking. I know many people are, and the moment I had to, I know, the moment I had to speak in front of the public, I could say things like, they will reject me, they won't like me, they think I'm ugly, and I could visualize them throwing tomatoes, being angry, being hateful to me. Or what I could do instead was saying things to myself like, they would love me, nobody can reject me, only I can reject myself, I'm good enough for public speaking, and visualize them giving me love. And that is important to change your reality. You really change your reality. And your reality is a reflection of your subconscious mind for 95%.
100%. Presence, do you have anything on that?
Yeah, I think, I guess it's about, I have to say, but like, I think pictures are really powerful in terms of like visualizing what you like, visualizing the future and stuff, because I find that really fun and like kind of puts you in a good energy, I guess. Like when you think of positive, like if you're going to an event later, you think of what's going to happen and like the best case scenario. I guess think of the podcast, think of the best case scenario of the future, how it's going to be, and that just like makes you excited to like take action, I guess. But
So one thing, again, guys, like I'm not an expert on like this whole NLP stuff. One of the things that I learned in the book is that when we have more negative pictures in our minds, that they tend to be quite big in our minds and quite bright and everything. And so what we have to be able to do, again, like inner work, mental work, is make those pictures small, like really shrink them down, black and white, push them away type of thing. And this is some exercises kind of on this. If people type in Tony Robbins Unlimited Power, I think is called the book, shares more about this, then that's a really helpful book. And then so then it's about the kind of images we have in our mind, kind of doing that practice with them. And then the more like the things that we do want in our lives, the more of the positive stuff is then kind of bring them then to the forefront of our mind and blowing them up, making them bigger, to then be inspired to then take the action on them. So that's kind of a little bit of what I know kind of on this. Again, like I'm not an expert on it, so I've just learned a few things and applied in my own way. So.
Yeah, that's important, really.
Yeah. I need to learn more about that now.
Yeah, for sure. It's really helpful. And those two books by Tony Robbins, they really helped. Like the first one was more about, for me, what I got from it, like the value systems, belief systems, etc. Which just like, oh wow, like before this, like I've never even knew what a value system was. What I'm saying, like what belief system was, because it didn't get taught in school or anything. And so that was a really helpful book. And then the other one, Unlimited Power, I think like they're linked. We just went more in deeper in terms of like more NLP in the mind and that sort of stuff. So cool. One other thing that I wanted to talk about, guys, and then I'll let you guys go. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to take questions as well. If people have questions,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you do have questions, we've got a few people on. Do drop them in the comment section. I will just bring my phone up. Yeah. We've also got a comment box on here, I think. So, but was around the I've shared a post on this the other day. Was the importance of like just starting the journey. And so I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. Ultimately, for me, it's so important that we just start this journey. And so my experience with it kind of is that, so I've been doing this for about 3 years or so, in entrepreneurship a little bit longer. And I feel like it's only just this year, you know, like 3 years in. And I shared it on when I heard onto a Presences podcast that I've now identified that real like North Star or that purpose and those, you know, kind of these types of things, like call it whatever you want, and that why as well. Like before I kind of had, I suppose I was like an inkling into it, but it like I couldn't define it. And so it's only been like 3 to maybe 4 years in later that I've been able to do that. And I think maybe people get into this world and feel like, you know, it's going to be easy and kind of everything, and they're going to work out their purpose overnight. And no, like it's a process. It's there we go.
We're talking about that. We're talking.
Oh yeah, we had so many conversations. Presence. Oh, purpose is not a quick answer. It's a journey. It's really a journey. For me, it took 3 years, really, and then from July till right now, today, I had so many different purposes, and your purpose is a journey, not a destination. It's always unfolding and expressing itself, because there are so many clouds covering up your sacred gift in spiritual terms, and they have to be removed. And every time you remove a little bit of that, of those clouds, more of your purpose reveals itself. In January, I thought, I should elevate people's happiness. Then in March, I thought, I should help people with achieving or building a growth mindset. Then June, I should help people with discovering their purpose in life. That's so vague. And now finally, I think so, I help people with overcoming their depression, but it's always unfolding. It takes months.
Yeah, I can,
Present.
Oh, okay. I'm still definitely on the journey. I think it was probably like last year, thinking of like career and stuff. And discovering there was things called a career like life coaching. I became like interested in that field, but like a life coach is so vague. So it's like, what kind of life coach? And I don't. Like, if I'm totally honest, I don't want to focus on anorexia or like alopecia, because I just don't. I feel like it can be applied to so many other places, and I really want to be more broad. But at the same time, I know like most successful people are really niche, so that's something I'm still like uncovering. And I knew I wanted to start like something about this, but like I had like no clue. And then it wasn't until I started talking to friends on LinkedIn, and like in this case, it was Andrew. Because he is before I started the podcast, we were talking, and then he's always about, you know, taking action and not overthinking stuff. And then he gave me the idea of, action. And then just like me reflecting back on my life, I was like, I was never ready to take, you know, the first step. I was never ready to recover, but I just took action on it anyway. And, you know, everyone really, not just me, everyone, it's got to where they are because of taking action. So that gave me the idea of like, it starts with action, and it gave me the idea of talking about what blocks us behind action. So like fear of failure, fear of judgment, perfectionism, and mindset stuff. So that's where I am now, but I really want to find something more specific, which is my journey now. But I'm so happy that I found at least the podcast idea, like it starts with action, because I feel like this is the first step to something more bigger, I think. But it wasn't until, you know, really talking to people about your ideas is good. And not being like, don't hide your ideas if you have any, like don't be afraid that people will take or anything, like, and like ask for feedback or talk about just express your ideas to someone, and they will probably say something completely different that will give you an idea of something. And yeah, don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
To give you a comment on what you said, Presence, nobody is ever ready to take action. There's never a perfect moment to take action. You always feel that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy enough to start action. I just started as a coach for depressed people, but I don't feel ready. Nobody feels ready because there's so much you have to learn.
I don't think I'll feel ready.
You have information in front of you. You have to take action.
So, mate, just on that, I just quickly just dive into that. So, although you don't feel ready, you're confident that you can still help people, right?
Yeah, because you always have to act out your expertise. If I would teach people about anorexia or something else, or whatever, or how to buy a better iPhone, whatever, I cannot tell people no, because I only tell things about what I suffered from, what I transcended, what I overcame. But I don't know the coaching techniques or those techniques. I don't know the techniques, but I'm still confident that I can help people because I overcame it. So that's the best advice.
Yeah, something I'm still thinking of. Yeah.
That's part of the journey in itself, you know. And I think starting the podcast, obviously at 19, is something. And like, guys, like, even though you two are much younger than I am, like
not that much.
I'm like the old man here.
No.
Like we still got so much time, you know, like so much time. I then want to, and Gary Vee talks about this, like having that long-term patience, but in the short term, having that speed of Jen just like going for it, you know. And I think it's like two that really creates that momentum to then helps us go from where we are to where we want to be, like that combination, because like things, great things like take time to build, but then it's about in that short term, like just having that speed and executing and not overthinking ideas and just like just taking action, you know.
Yeah, and not stressing yourself too. I feel like for me, I feel like because I've been to the place where, you know, I was looking at my heart rate, low 20s, I was feeling my body shut down. I was literally like, I knew I was dying. That's when I was 14. And like, I never planned on dying when I was 14. That's like too young. So like, at the same time, we have so much time, but at the same time, life is so unpredictable. You can't, like, you don't want to think that you have a lot of time, and so you don't take action on what you want to do. Like, I'm going to start a business after uni, or like after I have another job, after saving this much. Like, you never know what's going to happen in life, and you don't want to regret not trying earlier if you have that idea. I feel like
that's beautifully said. You always have to take action, but you shouldn't rush it. And back in March, April, and May, I was rushing like nothing else, because I wanted to be a famous YouTuber, 100,000 subscribers. Then I thought, Wouter, easy. I have so many years ahead, probably. So take your time.
Just on that, I think like that principle kind of works for that. Like, you had that big goal, and so that goal is like having that patience for that goal, but then every day or every week, then doing like executing on it, and so you're going to get to that goal by producing videos and taking action, kind of like on that. So then like that principle, you know, that I shared, for me then comes back into it, having like that patience for that long-term goal. And then I know you're doing it. I see them pop up on LinkedIn, like executing, creating those videos. I'm going to get you there.
Yeah, it's like having a really big Mac, 5 Big Macs in front of you, and don't try to put it in your mouth and try to swallow it, because you will die. You have to take small bites, and then eventually it's gone, and you just have the hamburger. For example, I have a vision board, and right now it says 1,000 subscribers, small things, and eventually the 100,000. So.
Yeah.
And time flies, honestly. Like, it's been like lockdown has eased, and it feels like Corona's
It's July on Wednesday, guys. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just crazy how quick time. Like, it's already past my 1 month anniversary of my podcast, and I did not like it. It just flew by. So why wait? Because time is gonna fly. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, just do it. Just do what's on your mind, and you want to do it.
Feel the fear and do it anyways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Cool. Guys, don't think we got any questions coming, so no worries. Where can people find you both online if they want to connect with you both?
For me on YouTube, just my name. You can see here on the screen. If you type in that name, I will pop up on YouTube or Instagram and LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay. For me, same. I'm most active on LinkedIn, then Instagram, then YouTube, or you can find me on the podcast. So Instagram is presence, and then what do you call that? Dash. No, the bottom thing. Hyphen. Wait, what? Right. Underscore. Yeah, that's. I don't know why I keep forgetting that's an underscore. Presence underscore. It starts with action. Spotify, Apple, iTunes. It starts with action. LinkedIn, presence CTSE, and YouTube. Just Google. It starts with action. You can find me.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for today. Awesome conversation.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well.
It was fun.
No worries. So, guys, definitely go and follow Presence. Am I pointing right now? Over there.
Yep.
Over there. Anyway, and Wouter as well. Both doing amazing work. Go and check them out. And no doubt, I will see you in and around social media on one platform this coming week. So have a great week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.